in Diablo 2 and also in World of Warcraft. It's just they have these good ideas for these spells, and then it looks good on pen and paper, but then when it comes down to it, the spell is pretty much just crap. So that's what it looks like Electrocute's going to be to me. But you never know. I mean, if it scales and it bounces to extra monsters, and stuff like that, then it could very well be a very strong spell. But it looks like it's a short to medium range spell. But for the most part, it just looks like crap to me right now, and it might need to be reworked or something. So the next ability is Magic Missile, and this spell I think is probably going to be just a kind of like the building block for the sorcerer. It's probably going to be one of the first spells you get, and it's going to be like your all-purpose utility damage spell. So it looks very simple. It just launches a little blue, purple, whatever color projectile at the monster and does damage. So, and it looks like it's very fast cast as well. So that's good. Now the last spell I want to look at is probably my favorite one for the wizard so far, and it's Slow Time. And what that does is it basically makes a little dome around the caster, and every projectile that goes into that dome moves a lot slower. And yeah, and I could see that being very useful if you're partying with like a monk who has a spell that launches projectiles back at people. But then there might be some bug issues with the projectile still moving slowly and stuff like that. But for the most part, it seems like a really awesome spell. It's just a way for the character to stay more alive. And I mean, a big problem with Diablo 2, as you might have noticed already, is my character's taking a lot of damage from missile attacks, and that's just a way for the wizard to help negate those massive damage dealing things from these ranged units. And it looks like it does affect spells as well as normal projectiles like arrows and stuff like that. So excited about that spell. It'll be fun to mess around with that and play with it. Oh, wrong button. Search my. Jeez. Treehead Woodfist, man, come on. Okay, so the next character, I think that was the last spell for the wizard. The next character is going to be the monk, and the monk, like I said, I'm pretty excited about playing the monk. It'll probably be the first class that I play around with, maybe, and do some videos for. It looks like a lot of fun. Basically, it's the fantasy version of a Jedi, is what it looks like to me, especially because of one of its skills in particular. But the first skill I want to look at is Crippling Wave. It's the first one on their little list on the website. And the way that one works is it's kind of like a combination of fist attacks, and the last blow of it is like an area of effect crippling curse, kind of like in like the Necromancer could cast. And it makes the characters move, or the monsters, I keep saying characters for some reason, but it makes the monsters move slower, so that you can run away if you have to and launch whatever other spell you want to cast. So that'll be interesting to play with. So the next spell is Impenetrable Defense, and this is the one that I think is very Jedi-esque. And these guys are so difficult. So basically, how the impenetrable defense works is it like spins your staff around at a high speed, and it sends the projectiles back at the original caster. So that's going to be a very strong defensive spell as well as attacking spell. Simply because Jedis, they like to launch those lasers back at the droids. So yeah. Die already, jeez, okay. I guess I should find the waypoint before I head back to town. So that in combination with Slow Time is going to be a very effective spell. Could potentially defend both characters at the same time, or something like that. But yeah, I think that alone is going to be a fun spell to play with. So the next spell is Exploding Palm, and this one looks... it just looks like a lot of fun. It's like a little combination, a little fist combo again, like right, left, or right, left, right kind of thing, like a boxer would do. And then at the very end, it like injects them with this like explosive stuff. I don't know, and it's like a little timed explosion. And after a couple seconds, that creature just explodes and does area of effect damage. Now, yeah, I just think that's really awesome. So it does explode. One thing is, if the monster gets killed before the explosion goes off, is the explosion still going to go off? Does it do friendly damage? Stuff like that. So, interesting. A lot of aspects could be included into that to make the gameplay a lot more fun and interesting overall. But, you know, we'll just have to wait and see how that one turns out. Now, the next one is the Seven-Sided Strike, and the way this works is it almost looks like a finishing move from, like, Mortal Kombat, and your character teleports to wherever the monsters that you click on are, and you kind of disappear and reappear and do various martial arts moves and do damage. So it's like a high-speed, a high-speed attack. Yeah, so let me give that ring. So it's like a high-speed attack, and it does damage to multiple monsters. But I'm not too sure what that is. Like, can your character still take damage while it's going on? Is it like Whirlwind, where you still take damage and you can't really cancel it to run away? Stuff like that. Yeah, so it kind of interesting. One thing I am a little bit worried about as far as the monk is concerned is if your character teleports into a big group of monsters and you realize you can't deal with it, can you teleport back out and not die? So, yeah. So the last one I want to look at for the monk is the Way of 100 Fists, and I honestly I love the name of this. It's kind of very I don't know. It's kind of whoops, wrong waypoint. It's just kind of awesome. It's very cheesy, kung fu movie-esque, I think, ish, whatever. But whoa, be careful. Raknishu died really fast. Alright. Yeah, so it looks like that one works very simply. It looks like it's just like you go in there and you like hit one unit 100 times with your fists. So, it looks like it also does area of effect damage. So, but it could be very useful against bosses and stuff like that if it is kind of a localized attack like that. So, what? Oh, there we go. I was a little bit confused there for a second. Okay, so yeah, so that's the monk. Probably interested in playing that. I'll probably play the monk, and the wizard is probably going to be a lot of fun. Definitely going to pick a female wizard though, because I don't want to be playing a Power Ranger villain. So,
First to fall to Diablo's wrath.
Okay, so the last character class is going to be.
Kane, go to the road camp.
Oh, I'm gonna die if I fight those things. I'm pretty sure. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the Demon Hunter's spells, and yeah, so her first spell is Fan of Knives. I already talked about that one a little bit, so I don't want to go into too much detail, but looks like it's going to be area of effect, launching a Fan of Knives, and it's very similar to the Warden from Warcraft 3. Now, the next spell is Grenade, and that looks like a combination of this spell, where you send multiple projectiles and they explode, and it's combined with Fire Blast because they're fire grenades. So that's what it looks like to me. Probably going to be another very early spell that you can pick for the Demon Hunter. just to kind of get you through the early stages of the game without too much trouble. So the next spell is Bola, and when I read the title of that one, I was like, Bola? What the heck is a Bola? And Blizzard definitely has a knack for finding words for things that you don't necessarily equate with damaging and stuff like that. So, yeah, so Bola is actually very similar to Exploding Palm in that it's a projectile, but when it hits the opponent, it injects them with some kind of explosive material, and a few seconds later it explodes. And it looks like that one might actually do friendly fire damage, but the video for that might be slightly confusing for that, so I don't take my word on that. That's just a guess on my part. So oh, there we go, finally level 12. Okay, so the next one is Entangling Shot, and Entangling Shot, it also looks like it is a bouncing ability, in the fact that it bounces from one character to the next, and it kind of has like a string attached to it or something, and it kind of slows all the units down at the same all the characters down at the same time. So that is kind of how that one works, and it does do damage, and I don't know if it has like a damage over time or something, but it kind of looks like it in the video. So that's just my opinion of that. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out the rest of Tristram for the finale of this video, and that's pretty much all I want to talk about for the abilities that they've announced so far. The next video will probably talk about the PvP features coming up, and as well as the crafting and stuff like that. So let me redo my skills a little bit here. Okay, so yeah, I forgot they added that. You no longer get life leech and stuff from skeletons, from undead, so, or at least skeletons. I don't know about like zombies and stuff. I think you probably do. I don't know. So yeah, so playing hardcore as an assassin it's kind of fun. You have this ability Cobra Strike, which is very I don't know, you definitely need it because it does like life leech and stuff like that, so that's very very helpful because you can do damage as well as replenish most of your life and mana at the end of the charge up. But I couldn't do it on the skeletons because you don't get life leech from skeletons apparently. So, or mana leech for that matter. So yeah. So sorry I can't really talk today. I don't know what the deal is. Kind of flustered because this is finals week and I just took my first final yesterday, and yeah, whatever. Pro tip: do not stand in the fire because it does